Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are back on F124. And as you can see by the title, something I haven't discussed for a very long time, but we are returning to league racing. And for me, I've been league racing since 2010, so well over 10 years. And I think the last time I did a league race was probably at the very early stages of F123, and I haven't since, which for me was a really big moment because I've basically been league racing for every week of my life since 2010 to that point, and it was my major passion. It was something I absolutely loved, and the reason why I didn't continue that, or haven't done it for a long time, is because I just fell out of love with the game. I just didn't have the passion. I didn't think it was good. It wasn't enjoyable for me. But as you can see in today's video, I was invited by a league, a very established league, to join their pre-season race just to see how I felt. Because actually F124, at the beginning, I really didn't like this game. But with the recent patches and updates, I felt like I've grown into it more and more. And I kind of feel like I have my passion slowly returning. And I just thought, why not just give it a go and see how I feel. So we're racing with these group of drivers here. So a grid of 20, a full grid, very established drivers such as Carl24, one of the fastest on PlayStation, among a couple of others as well. So this would be a pretty good benchmark to see where I'm at. And you can see this is actually a full qualifying 50%. See in Q1 we managed to get through that pretty nicely. But this Q2 lap, I've actually invalidated my second lap. The first lap was on used tyres, and we are running the risk of being knocked out here. So, yeah, and you can see, look how close we were to being knocked out. We were about 300ths away from going out in Q2. But I just feel recently my pace has been really good. I've been doing a lot of open lobbies, so if you'd like to join me for these open lobbies, make sure you click that join button, become a YouTube member, because I am doing them quite on a frequent basis. Also, one-to-one coaching, I've opened up even more slots now, as per requested. So if you'd like a one-to-one session with me, I operate on all platforms. So head over to www.coachlimmers.com. But yeah, you can see here, first lap in Q3, pretty happy with that, 25.9, which is pretty respectable. So this is actually my fastest lap, so let's ride on board for the entire one. And again, people like Carl, Ickle, there's a few other guys in here who are among the top 30 on the game on PlayStation. So let's see what we can do. And if you notice, look how I'm changing the ERS modes, going back down to none, using the overtake. This is a big feature on this game, and kind of reminds me definitely of 2018, which is something I really love to do. So yeah, let's see how we get on. And the first sector going pretty well so far. So going for this first sector split, it's a 27.1, so a pretty good first sector. That's a PB. They going into Brooklands, making sure not going too deep. Use the overtake on the exit, and then flicking it back down to hot lap. So I use the overtake just to get a really good boost off the slow speed corners, and then I try and save battery by keeping it in hot lap. Keeping it in 7th gear through here. I know a lot of people saying, well, why aren't you shifting to 8th? It's actually slower if you do that. Even though it's bouncing off the rev limiter here, you can see as we go through the corners, you can see it then stops bouncing off it, so you'd actually be bogging down in 8th, going through here into 6th, onto hanger straight, using the remaining of the ERS, and you can see we're well over a temp up now, so this is actually a very good lap so far. Quite last minute as well. I didn't have much practice for this. I had about a couple of hours notice, so yeah, didn't really have that much time to prepare. But going into the last chicane, making sure we change it into 56 brake bias. Carl's done a 25.8, so that's a very good time. We're going across the line. What is this going to be? It's a 25.7. And yeah, no audio from my side, but yeah, that gave me a very good feeling. A feeling that I haven't had for a very long time. And it just felt really good to be driving basically in a league race setting again. So we managed to get pole, and let's see what we can do, because it has been a very long time since I've done a 50% race or a league race. So this isn't an official round of the league, this is actually their pre-season, their social race, just to get people warmed up. And yeah, but it's always a good indicator to see where you are in the pecking order. So I was really just going to see how I felt after this race, how much I enjoyed it, and then make a decision from there. So you can see we're lining up pole, and let's see what we can do. So I'm going to be talking about my thoughts throughout this race. And if you did enjoy this video and you're happy for me to be league racing again, make sure you give the video a like as well. But you can see getting a really good start. So one tip to get good starts is to short shift into second gear. And you can see the initial launch wasn't particularly good, but then the second phase of it, when you go into that second gear, really being patient on the throttle, that really gives you some very good traction. So yeah, we're going to stay on board for this first lap because DRS is activated after lap, so there's no point really trying to break the DRS, and I don't think I could anyway with the caliber of people like Carl and some other drivers in here as well. So I knew you got to play a little bit of a long game, starting on the soft tyre because it's going to be soft and medium around most tracks, and the softs can actually last quite a while as well as the medium. So yeah, it's just about getting into the rhythm here. Don't need to be in the lead of the race in the first part, but making sure you are there and thereabouts. But obviously with the ERS in this game, it's very, very easy to use the ERS, but also very easy to recover the battery, and you'll see towards the end of this video that actually provides some really, really good racing, which I thought was going to be an issue in this game. But I think due to the nature of the ERS and how chaotic it actually is, although I still think they should maybe tweak the balance of it a little bit, one thing I think this game can take credit for is that it actually does provide some pretty chaotic but very good racing as well at the same time. You're not going to be stuck in the DRS train, let's put it that way. So after this first lap, moving on to lap 2, Carl is right behind me now, and you can see we're not overusing the battery, but just doing enough, and we're just going to let him go here. There's no point really defending this. He's my teammate as well. And again, you'll probably see me extending the gears quite a bit, which I know there'll probably be a few comments saying, well, you'll be going a lot faster if you do. Trust me, you won't. You actually want to be revving out the gears quite a bit in this game. So as I said, if you go into 8th gear, you'll be so low on the RPM that it will actually be bogging you down. So this is something you'll see from quite a lot of drivers as well. But as the race goes on, for this first stint, you can see we just weren't really interested in being the leader of the race. You can see we almost got maximum battery, just going out that dirty air, because not only does it heat up your engine, but you can see how much understeer you get when you're following someone in dirty air. So that's something to be mindful. But the setup I'm using, which I showed at the start of the video, that is available in my Discord. I've actually updated every single track. So if you become a YouTube member, click that join button, you will get all my updated race setups. And this one here, which is in my Discord, was working very, very well as a race one. You can see we're really, really hounding Carl 24. Do a little bit dummy to the pits, but he decides to pit, and I was suspecting he was going to pit that lap anyway. So you can see we've got a full battery, and let's really, really push now and see what we can do for the remainder of this race. But the tyres do go off quite quickly. There was a lot of understeer here. So coming on towards the end of the lap, you can see all the soft runners have pitted. It's just the medium runners who have stayed out. So we're now going to go into the pits. This pit entry is actually very, very different. The pit entry line used to be a lot earlier than it was now. It's a lot later. So that's something, thank God, I did do a little bit of practice of before the lobby. And now we're going into this, doing our first pit stop. And you can be activating this about half a second. So you can see half a second, that's always going to give you the optimal. Hold in the clutch, wait for 2.2 seconds. And that was a perfect stop. But I know I'm going to be undercutted a little bit, but I just felt I always like to go a little bit longer. That's something I've always done. I always like to have the freshest tyres. And because this is a social race, we don't need to... I think if it was actually a league race, I'd probably be wanting to be pitting on the end of that lap 11. But now we've got the fresher tyres. Felt really confident in my pace as well. The pace was really, really good in practice. So I just thought I would have the pace to have the fresher tyres, get in the back of this, and I felt like I could make quite a few overtakes as well. So now we're actually in a net P4, so we'll be undercutted by 2 people. Carl's still in the lead, so right now it's really crucial to get back within that DRS zone. But the tyres are a little bit cold at this point, so trying to get it within the DRS of this Ferrari up ahead. You can see using that overtake, and then we're going to put down to hot lap just because we've already got the momentum And yeah, we want to get within this detection point just before Max and Beckett's. Got a guy on softs behind me as well, so got to be a little bit wary of that. But the detection point is as we go through into here to that white line, and that means we're going to have the DRS and exit this. Go leave it in hot lap, don't need to use the overtake, because I know it's very, very easy to save the battery, so don't need to be too concerned. On previous games, this was 22-23, this would be a very bad position for me right now, because it actually takes a good 2-3 laps to save it. On this one, you'll see how quickly we saved the battery, and you can see already just through these two corners, we've saved almost like 20% of it. So done what we needed to do, got back within the DRS zone, and let's see what we can do for the rest of this race. You can see everyone else is pitted now, so into a net P4, but it was coming towards lap 17 of this race, and I knew I needed to start making some overtakes if I wanted a chance of winning this race. But the issue again, the pro and con of this game is that it's very easy to use the battery, but then very easy to save it, so that means people can constantly defend against your attacks at all times. So I really got to try and at least be in second place going into the last lap of this race if I want any chance of the win. I know I've got the freshest tyres, felt like I had the fastest race pace and just pure pace as well, so I need to dispatch of this Ferrari and the guy in P2 as well. But you can see again the dirty air, we're trying to get out of that dirty air. See, getting a very good exit coming off turn 4, using overtake now, but again the overtake button is just so powerful. He has DRS on the cars up ahead, so I'm just trying to bait him into overusing the battery. When his red light's flashing, that means he is saving the ERS. And you see again, we're just trying to find a line where we're not in his dirty air, getting a good exit off Brooklands here, using a bit of the overtake, but then going back down to hot lap. So I was just trying to force him to use a lot of his battery. So then going down the main hangar straight, that's where I felt there was the best opportunity. So after Maggers and Beckett's, this is where I felt it was my main overtaking opportunity. So you can see the setup is working really well, but the dirty air again, see having a lot of understeer here. So using the overtake, or would decide not to on this lap, and again, see now I'm using it. So again, just trying to catch him off guard, just trying to surprise him a little bit, but again, there's no room down the inside here, so we've got to wait for another day. His red light is flashing, so he's trying to harvest the ERS as much as possible. So you can see we're a little bit stuck here, and at this point I was getting a little bit concerned that the overtake isn't going to be as easy as I thought it would be. But I think the other overtaking opportunity was also going into turn 3 and 4. So going through this section, particularly sector 1 was probably my strongest sector. I could go down the inside here, but I always feel it's a little bit of a risk to go down the inside there, because the car doesn't expect it ahead of you. You could easily be turned in on, and they can then just drive around the outside of you as well. So I did feel that hangar straight was my best option. I was trying to get maybe into Maggers and Beckett's. You can see we wasted quite a bit of battery here. So on the exit of this corner, this is where I felt my best opportunity was. So coming off hangar straight, we actually get a really good exit this time. So now we have to actually commit with this battery. Again, we decide to turn it off, but then his red light is flashing. So I thought, you know what? We've got to make a move down the inside, so a bit of a risk here, and if you touch wheels, it could be absolute chaos. Using the overtake, so go into as far as you can. We have to get this move done, so go around the outside. Does he leave me room? Yes, he does leave me room, and now we go up into P3. Really fair, respectable racing, and that's something that really impressed me with the drivers in here. Not only are they a good level of competition, but they are actually very, very fair and respectful, which is something you don't get too often on F1 24. But coming onto lap 22, I knew that I would have to be getting into second place going into the last lap. That's why I wanted to be in second place. So I decided to follow car 24, go down the inside here, and on the exit of this corner, using the overtake and go down the inside isn't really an overtaking choice, but go down the inside. He leaves me room on the inside, and now what we do is we go for the switchback. So we're doing a really, really nice switchback, but then we activate the overtake button too early. That causes me to lose the car, push the Ferrari out wide, unlucky for him, and now we're coming under attack from this guy on the softs, and that has created a lot more work for me to do. So yeah, we just activated the overtake too early, and I think this is just me being a little bit rusty and a little bit inexperienced in 50% races. It's something I haven't done for a year and a half, and I think just the poor choice of activating the overtake. The line was a little bit too tight. I was a little bit compromised from that overtake going for the switchback. Yeah, the grip of the tyres couldn't handle it, and now I have to get back within this DRS zone. If I have any chance of winning this race, I need to fully commit. And you can see we're just taking a big risk here. We're using all of the battery just to try and desperately get back within the DRS zone of the cars up ahead. But the good thing is, again, is that look how easy it is to save this battery. So I was really hoping that my teammate Carl wouldn't see that I'm trying to get back within the DRS and he'd be pushing quite hard. So I was hoping that he would just be driving normal. And I felt like, again, with the fresher tyres, I should be the fastest car on track right now. And you can see we're making up time going through this corner. Coming exit through here, we really got to get within the DRS zone coming off here. So on the exit, using the overtake, and then we go put it back towards hot lap. So just stopping it shy of 11-12%, because if you dip underneath 10%, you actually lose so much more straight line speed. And I could have activated the overtake here, but again, I'd be falling under that 10%, and that's going to cost me going down the next straight. So I've got to try and hope I can get in the DRS, but I haven't made it. So using a little bit again, stopping it at that 11%. And you can see now we are within that 1 second. So we've got to have a really good couple of corners here to get comfortably back within that DRS zone. You can see really throwing the car in at the end of the hanger straight. And you can see now we are within that 1 second. And now we've got to try and save as much battery as possible, because we're not going to be able to use it on this lap. I'm going to have to actually save for quite a bit. So we're going to try and save 100% for the last lap. But as we go into that last lap, you can see, look how easy it is to save the battery. But the only issue is that I wanted to be in second place. Because of that mistake, we are now in third place, which is really putting me at a big disadvantage. So coming into this last lap, let's see what we can do to try and win this race. And now, coming into this turn 3, you can see we're turning off the ERS very early. Want to be saving as much as possible going down that back straight. And you can see he's made a bit of a mistake here, so we could have gone down the inside. But again, I think a very risky track, trying to get some really good traction. And now we just have to fully commit. So I have to overtake him realistically down this straight if I have any chance of winning this race. So coming to a little bit, we got to pull out last minute and going down the inside at the end of sector 1, leaving some room on the outside, always losing the car again. So going around the outside now and trying to get into second place, get the move done. And yes, we've managed to get into second place, but at what cost? We've had to use quite a bit of the battery. So again, not using the overtake here because I want to save it all down the straight, but car was made a little bit of a mistake as well. Slipstream is actually very powerful in this game, so going from Maggie's to Beckett's, we've got to try and absolutely perfect this, and we should have enough battery to use the overtake all the way down the straight. So now we're going to use it, but I'm pretty sure he had a lot of battery as well. So coming down the herring straight, how quickly can we close in? So we're closing, and we're going to go down the inside at the end of the hanger straight, going side by side, but going through here, you see, activate overtake and then turn it off. That actually cost me, so we're going to go round the outside. Final lap into the final corner, and then coming through into, can we hold the position? Carl actually gets a really good switchback using the overtake again, going across the line, and Carl has just won the race. And I think that mistake of me activating the overtake, then deactivating it, and then activating it again, that cost me. Also, I should have really just parked it on the apex. I thought it might be a little bit harsh if I did that, especially in a social race, to really park it. Or he could have just drove around the outside of me. So I was trying to do half and half. But wow, what a race that was. And honestly, I really missed this. I've missed league racing. And I never thought I would say it at the start of this game. But I actually really enjoyed this race. Which is why I will be live streaming every race I do every Sunday from now on. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know your thoughts. I think pace was there, definitely 100%. Obviously, with the qualifying in the race, a little bit of league racing rustiness, I'd say. Lack of 50% running for quite a while. I think we could have made some better decisions. Some small mistakes cost me the win in that race, but I really enjoyed that. I really hope you did too. If you like coaching with me, please visit www.coachlimitless.com. and consider joining my YouTube membership. Click that join button, access to all my setups, speak to me directly, and you'll be getting a discount on one-to-one coaching as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you very soon. Peace.